Oh, thanks.
He's like, you live closest.
Right.
I'll
be that guy that makes the face whenever I drink whiskey. You know, the
bitter beer face. Yeah.
Yeah.
How much did you pay for this?
Right.
Got any Coke? Any
bit.
RC Cola?
No.
Mix that with some O2 recovery drink.
Yeah.
Some Fit Aid.
Fit Aids.
Fit Aid.
Yeah, I saw the Fit Aids over there. What happened to the O2 fridge?
Right there.
They're
Right underneath.
They're built into
I used to love
cabinet.
that stuff.
O2 is my jam.
Fancy. Dude.
I love O2. I love the blackberry O2.
I remember when you first got it, I bought like 2 cases, took it home, I was just drinking it like with meals. Well, we ready for round 2?
We can go round
Bourbon
2.
2?
Yeah. You brought something
B2.
special, so...
I brought 2 things. I've got a little bit left of this one, so we're going to get like each of us get like it's like communion tasting.
We've got some time, so while we're doing that, so Boy Scouts of America.
Ugh.
We're gonna move from smoking to Boy Scouts of America. I was a Boy Scout.
Mm-hmm.
I was a Cub Scout.
I did Cub Scouts. I did Boy Scouts up until Weeblos, and then that's when we moved from Liverpool to Toronto.
You guys did what?
Weeblos.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
I did not make it through the Weeblos and into the Eagle Scouts.
Should have worked harder.
I know I should have. So Boy Scouts of America have recently opened up, and it's been controversial for I think the past couple of years, where they were going to allow.
They've been talking about it for a while.
They've been talking about it for a while to be inclusive and let girls into the Boy Scouts of America. And I've seen where some mothers have said no, this should not happen.
And
this is
there was even a group of Girl Scouts that basically they're like doing like their own little protest with it.
Yeah,
and they're starting their own girls only thing.
Well, there is the Girl Scouts.
Yeah,
I mean there's already a group called the Girl Scouts. And I think part of the issue is there is
brown paper bag making great audio.
That's all right. So we have girls who don't want to be in the Girl Scouts because of transgender issues, and I understand that.
Right.
We have boys who don't want to be in Boy Scouts because of transgender issues. But the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts are 2 separate organizations. And honestly, I feel like in this, so let me step back. I had a conversation with my 10-year-old Lexi. She actually brought it up, and she goes, "Did you hear that the Boy Scouts are letting girls into the Boy Scouts?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "What are your thoughts on that, Lex?" And she gave me some long, very, very long answer.
How old's Lexi now?
Lexi's 10.
Okay.
So This is coming from a 10-year-old. She gave me a very long answer, but what it broke down to is, I don't think girls should be in the Boy Scouts. Mm-hmm. And I said, why? And she said, I don't. It comes down to, well, what if boys are uncomfortable doing things around girls? And she goes, but the Girl Scouts aren't letting boys into the Girl Scouts. Mm-hmm. And I said, right. I said, okay. I said, so how'd you form this opinion? She goes, well, I heard it, and she goes, I wouldn't want to join the Boy Scouts. She goes, so I don't understand. Yeah. Like why girls would want to join the Boy Scouts. She goes, it's not something that I would want to do. She goes, why can't the Girl Scouts just adopt what the Boy Scouts are doing and do those things if they're not doing them? Yeah. And I said, I agree. So we kind of had this discussion, and it was kind of one of those things where, well, if girls want to join the Boy Scouts, why can't they start a Girl Scouts troop that does the things that the Boy Scouts do, but not be a part of the Boy Scouts organization? And then, lo and behold, there's a Boy Scouts troop that is all girls. So, which kind of is the same thing, but it's part of the Boy Scouts organization. And the Boy Scouts have changed their name down to something else. I can't remember exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But it's still called the BSA.
Yeah, it's still called the BSA.
But I think they changed the B in BSA to something else. So
Ballin' Scouts of America.
Yeah.
Balla.
I think in general, boys and girls need to be separated for the simple fact that they need to find out who they are.
I agree.
I agree with you on that, and that's what fascinates me about this. So let's do a drink and continue. You're sniffing it.
I'm just smelling. That's all.
Now let's pitter patter. Let's get at her.
All right.
Take a drink.
Oh, that one tingled my nose. Oh, wait a second. What was that?
It went down the wrong pipe.
Yeah.
That's because you're snorting it.
Get that guy a chaser. Anybody got any Pepsi?
Got a Pepsi.
So,
Now, here's the thing. So our listeners know, I guess I should preface it. Martell said he's bringing a couple whiskeys we can just try. I said, me too. But mine have been in brown paper bags, so these guys haven't seen them.
so I have no idea what
because
this
I want
is.
no preconceived notions about any names
But
or
I feel like
branding
this
or labels.
came out of a plastic bottle.
It's not plastic. No plastic bottle.
That's an upside.
But
I do know it came out of it had a black cap on it. It was a twist off.
It was a twist off. Plain black cap.
Is this benchmark 8 or high bench 8 or whatever?
No, the old benchmark number 8. It is not. But that's funny because that is something I would pull on you. That benchmark's an $8.
It's like
bourbon whiskey
swill, but it comes out of
whiskey.
Buffalo Trace.
Which it's like Buffalo Trace. Like this isn't good enough for our name.
It's Buffalo Trace.
Put this label on and let somebody mix it with RC Cola.
It's good. I like it. It tastes like So I almost brought it. It's a Willet.
Oh yeah, I haven't had that. We talked about it.
It's the Willet pot or still bottle.
Okay.
So it kind of has that taste to it. But
Not
I like
too
it.
bad.
It's good.
How many notes you give it,
It's got
Jenny?
a little bit of burn to the end of it.
Yeah, this one's got a little bit more burn than we usually have.
Yeah, and I would say that it's not as good as the last one.
No.
I would agree.
So
And you give
for
the last one
me,
4 stars.
I gave it 4. I'd give that one like a 3.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm giving
And it's donuts, not stars.
Yeah, donuts.
Donuts.
I say stars a lot. I don't mean to.
This is
'cause
like a
you're a
2.5
star.
for me.
2.5?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's more generous than I thought you'd give it.
Yeah.
Just knowing you. For me, I'm going to rate this one about a 3. Because I think it's kind of a run-of-the-mill. It's pretty average. How much do you think this cost?
Well, this is probably like
How big of a bottle you got there?
$7.50. Standard size bottle.
Okay. $15.99.
$16.
Yeah.
All right, and what proof do you think it is?
80.
80.
All right. Any guess where it might have come from?
Giant Eagle.
No, it did not come from
Kroger's.
Giant Eagle.
Well, in Ohio, it's either Giant Eagle, Kroger, or the Pit Stop here in
We
Lancaster.
have a short stop in Circleville. This is
Maker's
actually
Mark?
very, it's not Makers. It's not as
Ancient
good as
Age?
Makers. Nope, it's a very well-known name, though. This is Jim Beam Devil's Cut.
Oh, okay.
So this is a very run-of-the-mill. Now, Martell had once said he hates the Jack Daniels and Jim Beams.
I didn't say I hate them. They're just
Well,
not my cup of tea.
And you rated it fairly.
I
You
did.
said 2.5. So
2.5.
you were right on. Your taste
Martell's
buds
more
are
of
there.
the underground.
It is a
whiskey guy.
He is. He wants the hard to get crap.
It's not even so much hard to get. It's because when you say hard, my hard to gets are
Japan.
They're available.
Elsewhere in the
They're
world,
just not available in Ohio.
that makes them hard to get.
Like Pappy's is hard to get, but it's available in Ohio.
If I can't
Well,
drive
sometimes.
up the road, it's hard
Right.
to get.
It's hard if I can get it at the gas station on the corner.
Yeah. Anybody going to
So,
Japan?
Jim Beam, so if you were not a alcohol connoisseur or bourbon guy, there's a thing called the Angel's Cut and the Devil's Cut. There's actually a commercial about this when this came out.
Yeah.
The Angel's Share, not the Angel's Cut, sorry, the Angel's Share is the what
Everything that
evaporates out.
evaporates.
Right. When it evaporates out, the old timers, the moonshiners, the rum runners, whiskey guys would say that's the Angels taking their cut. You let them have it. You don't try to keep that in. The Devil's Cut is what gets stuck in the barrel
Stuck
walls.
in the
Barrel.
barrels, yeah.
So Jim Beam claims that it extracts this from the barrel walls somehow.
They have to, the only way they could
I
do
don't
that
know
is
how.
to grind up the
Wring it
barrel
out.
and
Pick it up,
Just like
wring it out.
just like a towel.
But it says
Wring
made
it out.
with bourbon extract from barrel walls. So I'm thinking they get a small bit of that and mix it with their regular. I don't know.
that's yeah.
It's actually 90 proof.
Okay, I was close.
Wow.
So
Okay.
close, but a little bit higher octane. The problem that I have with this, and I rated it at 3, which I think it's good, but I rated it 3 because I would definitely be okay with somebody mixing this.
Yeah, that's a
This
mixer.
it's okay straight, but it mix it. Now the problem I have with it is that I paid $23 for this bottle,
Wow.
so I expected more. because at 23, one of my favorites, Weller's, is right there.
That's right, yeah.
So I gave it a 3, being generous, because it's not bad, but it's a soft 3 for me. I'm going to stay at 3 because it's just a middle of the road. It's not crap to me.
No.
But yeah, so that's what I brought in for you to taste. I had a little bit left. I've been using this to make hot toddies.
That's a good hot toddy maker.
And it actually did. Actually did.
Now, explain to me exactly what a hot toddy is.
A hot toddy is bourbon.
It's medicine.
It's medicine.
Right.
It's old school medicine. You take the way I make it. I take and put honey in a glass, which we had some sourwood honey, which Beth doesn't like. It's got a different flavor, but we had sourwood honey. I put that in a cup, put in some water, and then you can put in a squirt of lemon juice, fresh lemon if you got it. I microwave that so it gets hot enough to melt the honey, and mix it all up, and then I pour in a shot of bourbon. And what that does, and you can also add cinnamon, but that's the basic: the honey, the lemon, water, and bourbon. But it's great for colds, flu, sore throats. Yeah. It's phenomenal. So I've been having 1 to 2 of these a night. It's one of those things. I mean, you're obviously not. I've been sick. I'm not trying to get smashed, but it's a good, and it tastes good. It helps that it's better than gargling salt water, which I've been doing too. So yeah, that's a hot toddy. That's what I bought it for. But I thought, I want a decent bourbon if I'm going to try and kick this thing.
Right.
And I bought this, and I tasted it neat first, and I was kind of like you said, it's not bad, but I probably won't buy it again. That's my opinion. If anybody out there sees, it's a cool looking bottle and being the devil's cut. Like nobody else does that. So I was all intrigued, they extract this from the barrel walls and
we took it from Satan.
It's like three drops of barrel whiskey in there.
Stole it from Satan. Now you're
regular
possessed for the rest of your life. But yeah, this is a bottle I'll be throwing away and not buying another of.
Added flavoring.
But it is extra aged, it says. So yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it says legacy. While bourbon ages and the angel sherry evaporates, some also remains trapped inside the barrel. This is the devil's cut. We extract this dark and intense liquid from our charred white oak barrel walls and blend it with extra aged bourbon.
They make it. That's why they charge $20-some. Yeah, they make it sound like
because normal Jim Beam, I think I could have got the same bottle like $15.99, which is pretty fair for Jim Beam.
They could have white labeled that, just put Devil's Cut on it, and lowered the price about $5.
So yeah, it is what it is. It made good hot toddies, and they did help. So
right on.
All right, back to the BSA.
All right, so
here's one thing I was about to point on before I interrupted myself. You were talking about the boys and girls having to be separate. When I first shared the article, I was like, okay, this will get reactions, and it'll remind me to go back and actually investigate it later when I'm not working, which it did. I went back and read the all-girls troop in the Boy Scouts of America will not allow any boy in any of its meetings, so they're still doing separate meetings.
Weird.
That defeats the purpose of the Boy Scouts letting girls into
No boys on their trips, so any camping trip, hiking trip, badgering, everything's separate. It's just girls in the Boy Scouts now. So my question, once I studied it, I got several responses, and I tagged my friend Allison. Allison is a single mother, lives in Indiana, owns her own insurance business. She will take off on a Friday, go up to Michigan in the dead of winter, hike through 12 feet of snow and sleep in a sleeping bag, and then hike back out.
Awesome.
That's
12 miles. She will climb mountains. She will.
That's all. Yeah.
That's dumb.
Awesome. Dumb.
Yeah, like when it comes to outdoorsy and women, she's one of the first people I think of. She's done it all. She can start fire with nothing. The reason I met her, she did a lot of the training events with Creek, the Fat Guys in the Woods thing. I'd go there.
Yeah.
And all these people would ask me questions about how to survive in the woods. I'm like, look, I was on a TV show once. Let's ask some of the professionals here. But she learned all these skills, and her and sometimes her daughter, they'll go out kayak and they'll go whitewater raft and just very, very outdoorsy, very into like yoga, fitness, climbing. And so I tagged her. I tagged Eileen Fitzcharles, commented on it. She's another outdoorsy woman, homesteader. My friend Amy, Amy Rollins, she's come here. She was in the military 14 years. Actually got hit in Iraq, and it woke up in Germany in a hospital. She's been through some crap. Very outdoorsy, very knowledgeable, very survival-oriented. I tagged a few other women and just went, okay, what are your thoughts on this? And some of them, were like, yeah, when I grew up, we didn't do none of that, but we shouldn't expect Boy Scouts, to integrate all this. Yeah. And one guy replied, because he has a daughter, and he said it's bullcrap, the girls should be allowed in. Long story short, I'm paraphrasing, I'm sure he'll correct me. But his whole thing was my daughter should be able to do anything the boys do. And my response was, that's fine. Just change the curriculum of the Girl Scouts.
Right.
Instead of earning your merit badge for sewing an apron, learn how to start a fire with a bow drill.
So my response to that whole thing is, yes, you're right. The girls should be able.
And you have 2 girls, no
right,
boys.
And I do. I have 2 girls, and Lexi doesn't think that the girls should be a part of the Boy Scouts. Like that was her response. That's not my response. That is my response, but that was not me
hers.
telling her that
Right.
this should be your response. This was her long-winded me shortening it down. Girls shouldn't be a part of the Boy Scouts. If the girls want to be a part of the Boy Scouts, why don't the Girl Scouts just adopt basically the Boy Scout handbook and start doing
what I think should happen.
what the Boy
Right.
Scouts do?
And
Sell
just
your
not
cookies.
just don't call it Boy Scouts. You know what I mean? Just allow the ladies or the girls to have their own curriculum that follows sort of the same things. Teach them some of the same things.
And that was my
Right.
teaching. And the response I got from the gentleman that has a daughter was, and I consider him an educated guy, but he said, it's a lot easier for this organization to change and just accept girls in their own troops and their own things than it's to change curriculum. And I was like, how so? And he got to explain, well, if you go to school for an engineering degree versus a business degree, change your career. I was like, no, but that's not the same thing.
But it would be a lot
literally,
easier.
If the Girl Scouts showed up and said, hey, girls, we're learning how to start a fire with a solar lens.
You know, it would be a lot easier.
How hard is that?
Right.
It would be a lot easier if the 2 organizations weren't separate. If the 2 organizations
Right.
would just stop
Be the Scouts of
bickering
America?
and just be the Scouts of America,
And that's what a lot
and
of people
join,
suggest.
and then they use the same handbook. So take the Boy Scouts of America handbook, take the Girl Scouts handbook, because they have 2 separate fucking handbooks.
Oh, yeah, it's
and they're
completely
different.
different.
One is sewing, it is Susie homemaking, it is
Which,
other bullshit.
To be honest, guys should be learning that kind
Exactly.
of stuff too.
Exactly.
I was getting ready this morning thinking,
I went through
I took
home
home
ec.
ec, yeah.
I
Yeah.
went
That
through
was a
sewing.
thing in
I
school
took
when we were
sewing
growing up.
classes. I can make pants. I can make a shirt. I can
Yeah.
cook pies. I can do all the other bullshit for cooking. Before I even moved to Columbus, I was going to school to be a culinary chef. Before I went to DeVry and dropped out.
Funny how we share that story. We
Right.
have that in common.
So, but the 2 organizations should join, take the handbook, pull all the good shit out, the sewing, the archery,
Life
the fire
skills.
making, the life skills.
Yes, I was just about to say that.
all the stuff, and then you can have your all Girl Scout troop. You can have your all Boy Scout
Right.
troop. And you don't have to have this, we have a Boy Scout of America,
Yeah.
all girls troop that boys can't be
Well,
a part of. You can
right.
have.
I think
My
the
thing
big
is
issue is
separate
not
shit.
necessarily that the curriculums are different, but it's the fact that, boys and girls will be doing things like together. You
Right.
know what
Yeah.
I mean? And it's not that I have an issue with boys and girls doing things together. It's just that
No, that's called middle school.
Right.
That's called
right.
high school.
It's just that, boys need to find their identity.
Exactly.
Girls need to find their identity.
What-
And at the same time, it's like, you can't tell me that those boys aren't going to be distracted and those girls aren't going to be distracted if they're all together.
Exactly.
Well, here's
and
my
well,
thing.
and
I had somebody ask me, what's the big deal with boys and girls doing this together? I said, growing up in the camps I did and working with youth camps and dealing with the kind of crap I had to, when I ran a winter retreat that had over 500 teens of both genders and some of the phone calls I had to make to parents, it's not a good idea to send boys and girls out into the woods for a week.
no.
Right.
Period.
Well,
I don't care what age.
And even on top of that, there are things that little boys prior to middle school are not going to be comfortable doing around girls.
Even in middle school.
Right.
And, well, yeah,
It's gonna
even in
hold
middle
them-
school.
It's going to hold both
It's
boys
gonna-
and girls
Well, even
back.
look at
Hold
adults.
them all back.
When you're hanging out with your fellas, which you don't have friends, Martelle. I'll talk
No,
to
I
you.
don't have friends. I've posted about that and said shit
So,
about
but
that all
when
the
you're hanging
time.
out with the boys, it's different than when you're hanging out with mixed
Oh, absolutely.
genders. It just is. It's not bad.
No.
When girls hang out, there's stuff that I don't know about and I don't want to know about. Girls
Right.
are nasty.
No, girls are, no. Trust me, girls are dirty. Little
I know they
girls are
are.
the dirtiest little creatures on the
They're
planet.
worse than boys. I don't care what anybody says. I've done several of these
They are.
mini
They are.
retreats.
They are.
Every time when everybody else is going, we got to walk through the dorms.
They are
the girls
dirty little
by
creatures.
far the worst.
Dirty
but anyway,
little creatures.
It's
Oh, and I
different
tell my
when-
children that too. My little girls,
Yeah.
I will walk into to both. I'm like, you are dirty little creatures. no, I'm not, Daddy.
Figure it out.
You are dirty creatures. Just get the underwear out of your bed and put it in the hamper. You don't need to be sleeping with that.
Sleeping 9 pairs of dirty underwear. in
Why
your
is
bed.
there PJs
Gross.
under your bed?
Yeah.
Like, why are they under your pillow and under your bed?
Yeah, it's well. My boy, my 5-year-old, he is so OCD. He got up from me. He don't even like he'll eat chips. if you ask him to do something, he'll hold his hands in fists and try and grab stuff because he doesn't like that his hands are dirty. Like he's so like OCD about it. But no,
I was the opposite as a kid.
Yeah, I
This whole thing-
rolled in mud.
I was a dirtball.
I was always climbing trees, playing in the creek, picking up whatever creature scurried by.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
But this whole thing with the two organizations need to, one, they need to get over themselves. Mm-hmm. Like
They just need to join.
They do that, and that's what I'm saying. Like
I wouldn't even mind having one troop. Say Troop 589 is mixed, but there's the girls' events and the boys' events.
But this is what I'm saying. Like we're
Or
leading
there's
to
no, like in the woods for a week type deal.
Right.
You know?
Like the boys are going to the woods this week. The girls are going to do this week. Whatever.
But we're leading to other issues when it comes to that. So we've got an all-girls troop for BSA. We're going to have to do like it's going to have to get to a point where the GSA, the BSA, they're going to have to join. Like it's going to happen because they're going to have an all-girls troop. They're going to have an all-boys troop. They're going to have an transgender boys troop. They're going to have an all-transgender girls troop.
There's 63
They don't
genders. We're going to have troops everywhere.
I mean, they're just
You
going
don't
to
necessarily
have
to have all those separations.
Well, no, and
you know.
but that's what I'm saying. It's going to lead to these things because that's the society we're moving to.
Well, the thing
because we have to be politically correct. We can't.
Our
because
society
at some
it's not
point
about
you're
political
going to
correct.
have.
It's if you don't accept everything,
Hold on.
You're wrong.
Because right, and that's what I'm saying. Like
Exactly.
because you can't have a boys troop and then have a transgender girl, a girl who's transitioning to a boy, because you can't take the whole troop out and say, "I'm sorry, you can't go because you're actually a girl."
Right.
And we don't want something to happen. So you have to have special situations for this one person because you can't go on the hiking overnight trip because we don't want something to happen. And you can't sleep with the counselor or in the counselor's tent. We have to have a separate tent for this
None
person.
of us should be sleeping with a counselor.
Right.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like it's one of those things.
I'm not
like,
getting into
you have
that
to make
because that's a completely different. When we're talking transgenders, that's a different tangent. I could go on for 3 more hours.
right.
But
So you have to have
you can't have
you have to make all these concessions like all over the place.
And I think that's the big reason why it's happening right now.
You know what
because
it
of the
is?
the transgender thing that's happening right now.
Well,
and
they scream that's in the name of equality. And here's what I said. I said, if we want to empower now women, 2 women scout leaders are leading this troop. Cool. I think it should be women teaching girls.
Absolutely.
Call me old-fashioned. I think that there should be women that are knowledgeable in fire starting, shelter building. I know them. I even listed the 6 women or so. Beth Hoy, she's another one. Mandy Clinch, she takes paracord and does crap with it. I can't imagine. She knows knots better than anybody. I said, I would take these 6 women with me over 99% of the men I know into the woods to survive. Has nothing to do with what gender they are. Has to do with their skill set. I said, so instead of saying, well, the girls have to come over and learn from the Boy Scouts, why don't we empower women to do what the Boy Scouts do? Why don't we empower troop leaders to be able to do a Sorlin start or a Bodro start?
What you could do is just have part of the curriculum be like have the leaders from the Girl Scouts come over and teach the Boy Scouts, and have the leaders from the Boy Scouts come
That'd be fine.
Just like for like a day
Like
or
a class or something,
like a class, and then that way like they're still getting
and I would have no problem with that. I don't think the majority. I don't think kids give a crap.
No,
I think there are some girls
care.
that want to learn how to build a shelter, and there's some boys that want to learn how to bake cookies,
which is fine.
But totally cool. I think the biggest thing is all the adults going, well, you have to let them do this. No, you don't have to let them do anything. Sit down and shut up. Just because you want it that way doesn't mean the rest of the world does.
I wish that I would have learned more about how to sew and stuff when I was younger, because there's holes in a lot of my shirts that I can't fix.
Jeans that I split the crotch out of.
Back in the 80s,
I would love to be able to fix my jeans.
Back in the 80s, when I was in Boy Scouts, we actually did rappelling out at the BSA camp in Lisbon.
Yeah,
my
they used
rappelling.
to rappel off Cooper Stadium.
Well, we have
middle school.
the
for gym class.
Really?
Yeah.
You went to a cool middle school.
The BSA
We
camp
did line dancing
from the rafters of the gym. We would all climb up there and rappel down.
Jeez. Green Beret Middle School.
No kidding.
Athens Middle School. Let me tell
The
you.
BSA
Well, that's
camp.
because in Athens you have to rappel to get home. Everybody lives on a cliff or in a gully.
The BSA camp out in Lisbon has a cliff, and they rappel off that cliff. When I was in Boy Scouts, our instructor for rappelling, it was female. We had a female instructor. They brought somebody in
So what
to
you're saying
teach
is
us.
women can just learn how to do these skills and teach girls.
No. They had to teach her how to do it.
It's just so dumb to me. To say that the Boy Scouts have to accept girls instead of just changing the curriculum is asinine to me. Yeah. But either way, I say merger them. Just call them the Scouts of America. And here's the biggest thing. One of the points brought up was no girl has ever been able to earn the rank of Eagle Scout. Let's be real.
Because
the rank
they
of
haven't
Scout,
done any of this shit.
I know.
It fires me up.
And they're saying, well, that's not
me...
fair because Eagle Scout on a resume is pretty impressive.
It is.
And it can open up some doors. It can. So I'm all for it. But that doesn't mean it have to be Boy Scouts America, girls only troop.
No, it doesn't have to be.
You know what it reminds me of is the Little Rascals.
Yeah.
Like, we're the He-Man Woman Haters Club.
Well, once
you Woman Man Haters Club, like, let them still be the Girl Scouts and take pride in the fact that they're called Girl Scouts.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure.
Let them be empowered women. Don't say the only way you can do what we can do is come over to the Boy Scouts to do it.
I think
That's more demeaning than anything.
I think you just closed the book on that entire argument.
Well, and I'm sure once someone
that wasn't a sound effect.
No,
that was actually a tablet
cover.
That was legit.
I don't have a book.
It was legit as hell.
Check your screen.
Dang it!
I think once you hit Eagle Scout, I think it's multiple troops merging together. Someone will correct me. I'm sure you will, Craig.
I can text Craig. He's an Eagle Scout.
But it's because Girl Scouts stop at a certain point. And I think it's after they sell so many cookies.
Which is another thing.
Thin Mints.
If we start saying boys can do this and girls can do that, do you really want to buy Boy Scout cookies?
No, we sell popcorn.
No. You don't want. Nobody wants to be like, hey, we're selling Boy Scout cookies. Like,
no, they sell buckets of popcorn.
Not well. Yeah, they do. I bought some.
The Girl Scout cookies would just become Scout cookies, and then boys would sell those as well.
Right.
I don't care. As long as I get tag-alongs, I don't care what name you put them on.
Day.
Give me my Thin Mints. Give me my Samoas.
Tag-alongs are the peanut butter ones.
And tag-alongs.
Tag-alongs are my jam.
I put them in my smoothies.
Oh, I would love me a tag-along.
They'd never make. If I tried to make a smoothie out of tag-alongs, they'd never make it into the blender. They would just be like, there's one.
Tacos.
Okay. Nope, going to eat that one. Okay, put this one. Nope, going to eat that one. Like, I could eat tag-alongs all day.
The entire box is gone.
Dude, I buy one box a year because I know I'll just slam every one I get.
But if females have never had a chance to get to an Eagle Scout.
That's what I'm saying. So empower the Girl Scouts to do it.
There
are women out there that can teach it.
Yeah. Give them the opportunity.
The women that I know would be honored to teach their daughters or another generation how to rappel.
Again, it doesn't have to get to like Liz was in Eagle Scouts. My wife was in Eagle Scouts. Jesus,
I was like,
she was in.
I'm real confused.
Yeah, I know.
Was she always a wife or was she a husband at one point?
Well, we're not going to go there.
I'm glad she doesn't listen. We're not home because she'd shank me.
Yeah, she would stab the shit out of you. She was a Girl Scout, but she stopped at a certain point. I mean, she went from Brownies to Girl Scouts, and at a certain point,
she was done.
Girl Scouts just stop. They don't continue on. Now, in my case, I stopped because there were no Boy Scouts in Toronto. It just stopped. I would have loved for it to continue on. It did not. What are you going to do?
Yeah. So at the end of the day, it just seems like, at least to our group of three right here, the best scenario is combine the curriculums.
Absolutely.
Turn it into one organization, but keep them separate. You know, let the girls do their thing as girls. Let the boys do their thing as boys.
Right.
You call it Scouts of America, and they can all obtain the same rank.
I don't even know that they need to be separate when they're doing certain things.
Correct. Yeah.
But
But there has to be a point.
But there has to be a point when they do need to be separate. Yes.
There has to be a point when they're doing things as girls.
Well, it's like when you're doing the trips and stuff, man. I don't want my boys going out in the woods with a bunch of girls because I don't trust my boys.
Well,
I mean,
even so, I thought so. Just having a thought off the top of my head, even on the trips, they don't have to be separate. I mean, think about sixth grade camp. Sixth grade camp, you go out. At least in my case,
separated.
In my case,
together.
We were separated, but we went to Camp Aldersgate, which is in Carrollton, Ohio. We're out in the woods. We're sleeping in cabins, but the boys are separate. The boys are separate from the girls at camp, but only by 500 feet, 1,000 feet-ish. We're in different cabins.
And, I think that'd be okay, too.
And that's fine.
The problem is, and you run into it with every camp, just like I did with church camp.
Well, even my church camp was at Camp Aldersgate. It was the exact same camp.
Even the sneaking off, that's kind of like being a child.
That's
kind of like a part of childhood.
Where I'm saying, for the most case, if you have just boys, that's not going to happen as much. Right. Now, I did have a case where we found two boys snuck off together. The last year I did it at camp.
Ooh.
And, it's just one of the things that happens. So, you handle the situation appropriately.
I think in church, when I went to church camp, I snuck out every year I was at church camp when we met off with the girls.
So that's what I'm saying. If you do separate trips.
Off camp property.
From my experience in over 10 years of working with teens of middle school and high school ages, it tends to negate a lot of that when you take separate trips.
Yeah.
Right.
I did like the trips together, too, because of that social aspect. I think a lot of skills are learned in those interactions with the opposite sex. But
at the same time, it becomes more of like the boys are trying to impress the girls.
Right.
And then they don't learn anything.
Right.
But when it's all boys,
Well,
it becomes competition.
Just
And
like you hang out with your boys.
Competition breeds knowledge.
Just
Right.
like, well, it's a
learn
different
things.
type of competition.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you're competing to try and impress a girl, it's different than trying to compete because you want to whoop your buddy.
Correct.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, if it's just you and Brandon working out here in the gym, it's a lot different than if you and Brandon and your class of mixed genders working out in the gym. I mean, aside from you coaching, obviously, but you get what I'm saying. It's Martelle, if you're going head-to-head with Jimmy in a workout, it's a lot different than you going head-to-head with your wife.
Jimmy's going to beat me.
Well, probably. He's way sexier than you.
My broke is
argue
back.
with that,
My
Randy.
broke is back.
My broke is back.
My broke
back
is back in town.
My back is
Your
broke.
broke back? Do you need to...
I am broke back.
Whoa.
I am broke back.
All right.
I mean, I've been here
Let's
for
bring us
7
to the
years.
third reason we brought you here today, Jimmy. How's the bourbon?
I got to go, guys.
I have been in this gym. I have been a member here for 7 years.
He has.
You should get some kind of a
I'm
rewards
almost
card or
I'm
something.
almost an original member.
Well, I mean,
I missed it by about a year.
I would still consider you an original.
I missed
Because
it.
you were here
Here's
before
the
we knocked that wall down.
I was way.
I was here before you knocked the wall down.
A few years before you knocked the wall. I came after.
You were in 2012 when you came, and it was like right after.
It was right after you bought the original rig.
Yeah.
After you took down the original rig and put up
Put that one
the
up,
road
which
rig.
was in
Put up a real rig.
2012.
Yeah.
But I mean, we didn't open at the beginning of 2011, so I mean,
No,
you
you
were
were
still there
doing Rising
within
Park
the
stuff.
first year.
So it was in the
So-
first year.
Within the first year.
I walked in today, and there's a bunch of people in class, and I didn't recognize one of them.
Yep.
I was like, man, I'm
That was
going a
Shred.
while.
That's a new class.
Ooh, Shred.
Well, new-ish.
It's been around, but
Shrek?
it's been more
You have a
popular.
Shrek class? I'll take a Shrek class. Just walk around being all fat and yelling at people.
They work out.
Get out of my swamp.
They work out in the swamp. Swamp-like
smell like
environment.
Swampus.
I smell like swamp when I get done working out. Yeah, I
forgot
think that's
what
why I
the
think
point
we're
we
all
were
the
just trying to
same.
make was.
I don't know. I think we're all the same with the Boy Scouts, though. I mean, I don't
we're
have a
all-
problem with girls being in the Boy Scouts. I just think it's silly. I think it's not empowering
Well,
women or girls.
No,
I
it's
think the
degrade, if
problem
anything.
is that girls are in the Boy Scouts, but I think the solution is allowing the girls to do
just make it Scouts.
to allow everybody to do the same thing.
Yes.
And
Right. I was gonna say if you like you said,
call it Life Scouts because it's all just life stuff. You know what I mean?
I don't
At
care
the end
what
of the
you
day,
call
like
it. Yeah.
sewing, cooking, those aren't just
You know
women
what?
things; those are life things.
Call it 4-H. Oh, hold on. There's already an organization
I
called
got that. Yeah, I
We'll
don't
call
think
it
that's the same
5H.
thing about 5H.
No.
We're better. We're 1H better. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly, I'd like to sit down with some people that I know that were in the Scouts and made Eagle Scout and stuff, and kind of get their opinion on it.
See, I know a guy that made Eagle Scouts who's in a wheelchair.
What's that have to do with girls getting the Boy Scouts?
You said you wanted to sit down with guys
the
that
most
made Eagle
random
Scouts.
fact
I'm like,
ever.
I know a guy that
I know one. He's in a wheelchair. Like, what's the wheelchair have to do with it?
I'm just
He
saying
made Eagle Scout in a
he made it
wheelchair.
all the way
In a
through-
wheelchair?
through a wheelchair.
Oh, I thought you meant he was in a wheelchair like now, like as he got older.
Like
he was in a wheelchair, made Eagle Scout?
Yeah,
It takes
That's impressive.
That's what it takes to become an Eagle Scout,
I mean he
basically.
it was a kid that I went to school with in East Liverpool.
So he did like the rappelling and everything?
He got all the way through Eagle
I don't
Scouts.
know what it takes to make Eagle
I don't
Scout,
know what
really.
it takes to make Eagle Scout.
That's
either.
impressive. Good for
But
him,
he
man.
made it all the way through
That's awesome.
from Cub Scouts. I was with him in Cub Scouts, and then he continued all the way through and made it through Eagle Scouts
Did
in a
you guys
wheelchair.
Weeblos each other?
We did not Weeblos each other.
Oh, okay.
I didn't make it through Weeblos.
That's because you won it.
That's because it was a
Kicked him out.
U-blows.
I didn't Weeblos.
He blowed.
I blowed and moved.
Hi, Mom.
Whiskey.
Whiskey. Yeah, we got another one here.
We got another
little
one
sip.
here. So we're on tasting number 3. Blind tasting.
Blind
number
tasting. Yeah, this is the
Number
second
2.
blind tasting that I brought. So
So this one's got kind of a antifreeze smell to it.
Antifreeze. What are you serving me here?
don't worry
I'm not-
about it.
I'm
The
not
pills
sure.
were crushed up in advance.
This one on the nose. This one's a little different than the others.
That one got my nose a little more than the last one.
It's got a little kick to it. A little burn.
Still not bad though. Oh,
The
get
face.
him a Pepsi.
God damn, what is this?
Take a few sips, give your assessment. I'll tell you what it is.
I don't need to
Jameson.
give my assessment.
Well,
I need to take a couple more sips. God bless
just
it.
shoot it. He said, God bless it. God ain't gonna bless your bourbon.
Yeah,
Did
no
you- is
kidding.
there
I wouldn't
nutmeg
bless
in
this
this?
shit
Technically,
either.
this is nutmeg. I did not add anything to this, so.
This is nothing that I have in my arsenal at home.
Oh no! I told you, I'm bringing two
This-
things you probably haven't had.
Yeah,
This is straight from Japan.
This is not from. This is.
It's Canadian whiskey.
This is from the same state that Virgil Cane is from.
This is from South Carolina. This ain't Virgil Cane.
Oh, sorry, no, North Carolina. This is from the state north of where Virgil Cane
I'll
is
tell
from.
you, the aftertaste after it sits for a while is actually pleasant.
It starts to kind of sweeten up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets
Once
better.
the burn's going, the burn gets you.
See, I don't have the
didn't
burn
have
that
too
you
much
guys
of a
have.
burn.
It's
Yeah.
the
no,
initial.
it's not a bad burn. It's a sorry. Go ahead. Initial.
I was going to say I don't have the burn. Like I don't have the initial burn. It's initial taste. It is literally a punch in the face.
yeah. So it's like an overpowering.
It is an overpowering,
Strong.
just strong, like kick in the balls.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of enjoy it.
like it.
But the after, like just after it's done,
Mm-hmm.
is very pleasant.
Okay, I'm glad you both said that because when I first tried it, this one was gifted to me and I've been sitting on it for a while.
Like the face I made, like when you were like, "Oh, get him some," like that.
You
Is
made
just
the
like,
bitter beer face, and then you were
Ugh.
kind of
I
like,
thought,
okay,
see,
it's
I
not as
thought I
bad.
was going to be the one with all the bitter beer faces.
like,
Well, Martell's got like you said, you and I
He
drink
has
a lot of
elegant
bottom shelf
taste.
stuff.
Yeah.
He drinks stuff you can only get in Japan or South Carolina.
He's
That
got,
is not
he's got elegant
true.
palate.
I've got Buffalo Trace at home.
He
I've got
drinks his
Eagle
bourbon with his
Rare.
pinky out.
Yeah, I do.
I mean,
Pinkies up,
Cheers.
bitches.
He said, "I got Buffalo Trace, like that's low end."
It's
have a
only
cool bottle,
35.
though.
It's $34.99 a bottle.
yeah, until you're down below 10, don't talk to me about low end. You get down to the
$12.99 is-
benchmark.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I was at Kroger the other day, and they have white label Heaven's Hill, like big bottle,
1.75 or whatever.
the 1.5 bottles or whatever, the 1.25 bottles, which is not the bottle and bonded stuff. It's
but
just
does it
the.
taste the same?
I don't know,
We'll have
but
to-
it's
we
not the
gotta
100
figure
proof.
out.
I think it's the 80 proof.
We got to figure out. All right, so Jam Mule,
I would give this one a 4.
4 donuts on this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with a 3. Like the initial,
The initial you don't like,
I don't like. It's the after.
so this is another mixer for you.
This,
This is somebody at a party.
you know what? Hold on.
You gonna mix it? Do it.
Is that coffee that you're going to pour in there?
Water. That's actually probably smart
A little bit of water.
because as we talk, most of them you should probably add a drop of water to, a little splash. I bet it's better with water.
Explain to me the water thing.
So water actually opens up the it opens up the palate of the whiskey
It actually changes kind of the compound, the
and
taste of it.
it changes the compound of what it actually is
Interesting.
and changes the flavor of it. And in
Do you-
most cases,
would you say it brings out the flavor more?
a little bit?
allows
Yeah,
you to taste
It brings out more of the boldness, I think, in most of them, and it cuts back some of the harshness of them.
yeah. In some cases, and I have an article that I haven't posted yet from some of the master distillers down in Kentucky on how they recommend to drink their bourbons, or if you're going to make a cocktail out of it, how to drink, what cocktail to make.
To be fair, we're ranking these today neat.
Neat. Yeah,
We've
I
never
actually
done that.
just
we always do ours on the rocks or the splash of water.
usually
so
yeah,
neat just means
Just straight
pure.
out. Yep.
just
straight
straight,
from the
out of the bottle,
You got neat,
straight from the
you
teat.
got splash of water, which is obvious.
Yeah, on the rocks.
On the rocks, which is obvious. With ice. Most people that say I
Still
want
has
my,
the same smell.
well, the smell. Yeah, it's
Smell
strong.
is not great.
No, it's got a very
I've
strong
learned
aroma.
to never smell my whiskey.
There you
The
go.
smell is what helps.
It can well.
The smell can. The
It can
smell
help
can.
her. Hey, and I learned this in the
help her, yeah.
4th grade when the teacher came up, had a kid blindfolded, and said, "Eat this apple." He took a bite, or said, "Take a bite of this." Kid fell and goes, "Oh, it's an apple." Took a bite. Said, "Okay, I'm going to give you another apple." Hands the kid an apple, but had cut up onion, put it up to his nose, and as he took a bite of the apple, he said, "It's another apple. It's an onion," and he spit it out. And the aroma from the onion that he smelled tricked his brain and overpowered his taste
I think
buds.
I read somewhere that 50% of taste is through smell.
Actually, it's a lot more than that.
I don't know the percentage, but either way, it does
I
affect.
kind of made that percentage up.
Yeah.
But I do remember hearing something
I read
like
somewhere that I made up.
A lot of your taste
was awesome.
it comes from your smell. So
Yeah.
like because
I knew it was
now I
a
can't
lot,
smell
but I just
anything.
threw 50%
I've been sick all
out.
week.
yeah. So I actually have when the girls don't want to eat something, like plug your nose and eat it.
Yeah. I used to
And they
do that a
muscle
lot.
through it, but if a lot of your taste comes through your smell, through your smell receptors, not through your taste buds.
Right. So
A lot of the times,
plug your nose and take a drink. Let us know what you think.
Yeah. This tastes like crap.
That'd been funny if he dumped it all over his chin, down his chest.
It has no taste.
You can let go of your nose now.
Why? This is amazing.
It has no taste. Like I can get wasted on anything now. Just walk around a party with a clothespin on his nose.
Yeah.
No, actually, the taste is completely different when you plug your nose.
Is it better?
Yeah, it's actually a lot better.
Okay,
It has
so,
more of a caramel taste to it.
So unplugged nose. How many donuts? You said 3.
Plug nose, it only gets like a 1.5, but if I plug my nose, it actually
You
goes
just
up
said
to
plug
like
nose twice. First, you said unplugged that you were giving it a 3. I thought.
no.
Oh, you gave it a.
I gave it a 4. Yeah.
Jimmy gave it a 4. It only gets if I unplugged,
Yeah.
like just normal,
Could you-
it's like a 1.5. Like it is
Really?
low as shit. Plugging into my nose, it gets like a 3.
Okay.
Like it changes
Well, we'll do
dramatically.
the unplugged nose because let's be honest, you're not going to walk around plugging. You,
Right.
right? If you got to go through that much work to choke
Hey,
down,
guys,
enjoy your
whiskey
bourbon.
time.
Oh, I would get a clothespin and just walk around drinking this.
That's not how you enjoy bourbon, though. Is what I'm saying.
No, but I like
so
to
this
make
is
a
what,
scene
this is
sometimes.
nothing
so
more. Well,
This is
you can do that by taking your pants off. You don't have to plug your nose.
I
Or
have worked
standing
out.
erect.
I have
Just-
worked out in my
Stand
underwear
erect.
in this gym.
I've seen you work out in various outfits
I
in
mean,
this gym.
Brandon has
There's
called me a
pictures of it.
plum smuggler in this gym.
plum smuggler.
Oh, I wish Brandon was here. We got to get him on an episode too.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good one. All right. So, what proof do you think it is?
80.
80 again?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with 100.
100? Okay.
It's got a burn to it. I'm going to go with 100.
Price.
$2.99.
Wow.
Give me a realistic price. I mean, I know it's bad,
Per
but you
shot.
I mean, if it was $2.99, I'd suffer. I'd mix.
Yeah. It's. I would. I
Cherry
would definitely
Coke.
give this a mix. This is a mixer for me, but it price wise, $19.99.
I was going to say 20. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
$20 range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys ever see the show Moonshiners?
Yeah.
Did we just drink moonshine?
This is.
This is Tim Smith's
Climax.
whiskey, wood-fired
Wow.
Appalachian white oak. Now, this is the one we talked about a
an
couple
You've
episodes
talked.
ago.
Yeah. You've mentioned this.
It's an Appalachian climax.
They aged this. Now, bourbon, we've talked about the aging process.
Right.
Now, bourbon whiskey. How long do they age this? Do you know?
That's probably like 2 years minimum.
Any guess? You don't know anything about
2
aging
years
bourbon.
minimum.
He's like, I would have worked out. No, this actually is aged for 24 hours
Ugh.
through a
Weird.
process. I talked to you about it. They kind of showed it on one of the episodes
Where they were
where
trying
they
to do
put
some
in chips
experimental
of charred
and,
barrels,
Huh.
and they use some electrodes or some crap to basically
speed that
speed
process.
up the process. So what
You
you're
can tell.
what you're really drinking is straight corn whiskey that's gone through this 24-hour process. They give it the amber oak. It does have caramel and vanilla flavoring.
There's a reason I got a 1.5.
Yeah.
That's where I got
So-
the nutmeg from.
The nutmeg,
vanilla.
yeah. The caramel vanilla. This is something I'd been wanting to try. Somebody knew I'd want to try it. They got it for me as a gift, and I kind of just...
You should be making hot toddies out of that.
So the
Well, I did
aging
make one out of
process.
this last night. That's why I tasted it last night. I had it sealed until last night.
The aging process you talked about, is it supposed to put it at a certain age, or
They try to simulate that age by speeding up the process with the electrodes.
Are you
So-
asking
which we all-
about this aging process that they're
Yes.
doing? Yeah, they're
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
simulate. They're trying to get out of 24 hours what takes 3 to 20-some years to do. Like
Oh.
most cheap bourbons are aged at least 3 years,
that's kind of like cloned meat?
right.
pretty much.
So Buffalo Trace does a lot of experimental aging.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they'll use lasers and UV lights, and they have a whole experimental series. And they
Interesting.
actually just released some, so I'm going to try to get some tomorrow if it's available when I'm down in Kentucky. but they have an experimental series where they'll do like laser aging,
Yeah.
UV aging, and different types of aging process to see what they can do to get the same flavor profile out of this aging process as they do out of a 5-year, 9-year, 12-year.
Well, I mean, it's a money thing, right?
Yeah.
Because we can knock out whiskey all day long, but until it sits in those charred oak barrels, it doesn't become.
Well, they're
whiskey
paying.
that we
So
sell.
it's
the
all about
problem,
production.
The bourbon.
the problem with that is it comes down to a money problem. They're paying
Right.
tax every year on. So we'll just call a barrel 44 gallons or 55 gallons, whatever it is. They're paying tax on 44 gallons every year that it sits in that barrel.
Yeah.
Come 12 years, that barrel has, well, we'll call it 55 gallons. Every year they're paying tax on 55 gallons. When they tap that barrel, now that barrel in 12 years, that barrel has lost X amount
You got
of
the
gallons.
angel share in the devil's cut.
Right.
Yep.
So now
So
that
maybe
barrel only
35
has
gallons or
40,
40, whatever. I
that
don't
barrel
know,
has 40 gallons left. They've lost 15 gallons, but they've had to pay tax on
55
55 gallons for 12 years.
Not only that, I mean, imagine
Interesting.
starting up this gym,
Yeah.
getting all this equipment put all together, but not being able to collect anything on it for 7 years.
Yeah.
So you're running the gym, you're doing the work, you're paying the taxes and the bills, but you can't collect any membership dues for 7 years.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, I mean, you can see why it's not easy for people to start up legal liquor.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Tim Smith wanted
why-
to legal.
Or like legit whiskey where it's like aged properly. And
Right.
everything.
Well, and that's why a lot of if a lot of people that start up whiskey companies, they go to companies like MGP or I think it's MGP or other companies to say, "Hey, we'll buy X amount of barrels from you.
Right.
We're going to call it this. What do you have in the 5-year? What do you have in the 9-year?
whatever, yeah.
That is, and we'll buy those barrels from you. We're going to call it this." And
And it does.
they buy it from other companies.
It changes the price, obviously, because the longer it sits, the more it costs them, right? Mm-hmm. So some age, but it also changes
Well, that's why
the flavor.
Pappy. That's why Pappy.
So you got something like Pappy.
Pappy
that is
23-year is $1,500 a bottle
where you can get benchmark
on
number 8.
secondary market, but in Ohio, if you're in the lottery and you win, it only costs you $275 for a bottle.
Yeah.
Oh, only.
Well, see, and if I, that's the
That's
thing,
like 3 months of savings for me.
and that's what like Liz and I have an agreement. I enter the lottery every year for the Pappy Van Winkle.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to get pulled, they say, "Help, you win. You have the option to buy the Pappy Van Winkle 23-year bottle." She's like, "You go buy that bottle."
Well,
That
yeah,
is,
if you-
that is
I
a
mean-
$275 bottle.
Shit.
Now, granted, I would not do this, but I would have the option to turn around and sell that bottle for
Whatever you want.
$1,200,
Right.
$2,200.
I would do
I
that.
have seen that bottle.
Absolutely.
I would do that.
I have a
And then I
picture.
go buy cheap bourbon and celebrate.
I have a picture.
But wouldn't you be curious though?
I would be curious, but if Martell wins, I'll get a taste at least, maybe.
Well, see, that's the thing. I won't take a bottle and not open it.
Right.
Like that is just my own.
So then, how much
personal-
could you sell
Well, I'm
an
poor.
open bottle for?
yeah, an open
I,
bottle.
I could still sell an open bottle for a lot of money.
I mean, say
8,000.
I take one drink out and send it for $800, sell it for $800, $1,000. That's still a win.
Yeah. So I've seen
Oh,
an
yeah,
open
absolutely.
bottle.
I'll take that.
I was down in Florida last year for Christmas, not this previous year, the year before. I was in a store to pick up some stuff. The guy offered to sell me a bottle generously at $4,500.
Generously.
How nice of him.
That's
My
real
res-
generous.
Florida.
My response,
Yeah.
well, Florida,
Sucks.
Splorda.
Splorda, they try to exploit me,
Yeah.
export me.
Yeah, I
Got
got
it.
it. I got the
We
joke.
got it.
Yeah, exploit me. They are not a controlled state like Ohio is, so they can just kind of mark their prices wherever they want, which is
Dumb.
hey, good for them. It
Florida sucks.
it works both ways. So
Just like you.
yeah, no. So I had my bottle of Eagle Rare, one of your favorites,
Yeah, Eagle Rare's a really good bourbon.
which I had
Especially for the
contemplated
price.
bringing, but then I thought, nah, I don't want to give Randy my good stuff.
I have some Crown Royal.
I've never had Crown. You know that?
Seriously?
I've never once had Crown.
There's a bottle of like special Crown Royal.
Well, we'll have to break
wait.
that out here after.
I had Crown Apple.
Ew.
Yeah.
Ew, that's like
Somebody's like, "Oh, I love this." Blah blah blah. And I took a drink and I was like,
kind of like a wine cooler.
"You know what
It
it tasted
is.
like? It tasted like a decent whiskey or bourbon, but the apple Jolly Rancher melted in it.
Yuck.
Like it was a candied kind of apple, and it was
That's
weird.
gross.
I drank it. I mean, it was free.
Anyway.
Free drink.
I mean,
There's a lot to
good.
be said about that.
Yeah.
Yuck.
But I've never had just Crown.
Anyway, I had my bottle of Crown, or my bottle of Crown. Fucker.
You hate Canadian whiskey.
I do.
liar.
I don't like anything out of Canada for the most part. So I grabbed my bottle of Eagle Rare and I set it up there. And he's like, "Hey, we got a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle right up there on the shelf. We just got it
you
in.
posting about this now.
We just got it in. $4,500." I looked. My response to him was, "You're overcharging me for my Eagle Rare." In Ohio, that bottle is $275. I am not paying you $4,500.
Did you say it just like that?
Yeah. For the, I'm paraphrasing slightly. I slid my card
Listen
in.
here, mother.
Listen to you, motherfucker. I slid my card into
That's
the
one.
thing.
Do a shot, everybody. You
I
were
said,
doing
"How
so
much?"
good.
I said, "How much do you want for the?" That's like the third time I think.
Wait, is it like cussing?
Oh yeah, we
Shots
can.
and
We
F-bomb?
can
Well-
say.
well-
we can say whatever we want.
You can say
Oh, I
whatever
know
you
that.
want.
Yeah.
but-
Martell
I'm
dropped the
trying
F-bomb like
to
100
cut
some
back.
times in one episode.
And that was our
somebody said,
highest rated
many?
episode.
Like 117 or something.
It's something
when he was really
ridiculous.
mad at Lowe's. He was just going
Oh,
off.
I was pissed.
And it's our highest rated episode.
It's our highest rated
And
episode.
one
somebody
was it?
said
Our most downloaded episode.
it's like it's Lowe's blows and steal our shows.
And download our shows or share our shows.
share a show, something like that. And somebody was like, "We're going to turn this into a drinking game. Every time Martell drops the F-bomb, we're doing a shot." I was like,
So
"Dude,
everybody was
you're
under
gonna kill
the table.
someone."
I'm like, "You're
we
gonna
don't do
die."
it. And
Everybody was
I haven't
dead.
heard anybody actually doing it, but it's kind of beginning.
Yeah,
it's
it's-
become a running joke. So now we count.
So now we
every
count how
time
many
he does
times.
that.
Every time I drop an F bomb, we count it. So I think that's like the third time. I've
Oh,
dropped
they're
it.
a couple
fine
times
then.
a day. Yeah.
They're
you're
just
fine.
on par with us. We
Yeah.
haven't been doing full shots
So-
even, but
So it was.
My first shot was like 3.
you're
I gave you like 2.5 ounces. You're fine.
Whatever.
So it was.
like
I just looked at him and I said, "Well, how much do you want for the Goose Island?"
felt like 3. Heard that one before.
That's what she said.
That's 6. Really, it only felt like 3. Oh, hi, Mom.
Right.
I said in
I
an
love
episode,
it when your mom
I
listens.
said in an episode, man, I hope Mom's not listening. And when I shared it on Facebook, she replied back, Mom listened and she thinks you guys are hilarious. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I was like, wait, does she mean her mom? Did Grandma listen to that? No.
So the I just asked him, I was like, "Well, how much do you want for the Goose Island Bourbon County beer?" And he's like, $35
For beer?
for beer, for a bottle of beer,
One bottle?
one bottle. And I had and
Was
Goose,
it a gold bottle?
No. So Goose Island does these limited edition releases.
Goose Island can go screw itself for $35
No.
a beer.
Hold on.
No doubt.
No. Hold on.
Give me Coors Light over that.
Luckily, I
Couple
already
cases.
had that bottle. I already had that bottle.
Your supply of Coors Light for $35.
Well, we're yeah. I already had that bottle, but I asked him, and he's like, "Well, we want 12 for this, X amount for this. We want 35 for this bottle." I'm like, "What's so special about that bottle? You want 35?" He's like, "Well, this is a port finish, blah blah blah." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not giving you
Did you
35."
say pork finish?
Port.
Was there bacon in it? Because then I might
God,
reconsider.
if there was bacon
Was
in
it
it,
bacon beer?
I may
It's
have
just
paid
bladed
him.
up bacon.
I may have paid him 35 for it, but port finish, as in a port sherry
Right.
port wine
Yep.
finished
Yep.
bottle.
Where boats dock.
barrel.
The
Yeah.
port.
Right.
No.
They finished it out on the dock. 2 guys with a couple buckets out there stirring it up.
Hey. So it was a
Oh man,
port.
I went somewhere with that. So it was a port. Okay.
A port finish bottle and port barrel. And I said, "Nah." I said, "I'm going to pass." And that's when he offered me the Pappy for $4,500.
$4,500.
And I just looked at him like, "Well, that bottle is $275 in Ohio." I said, "And I will pass on that." Well, then he goes, his whatever his assistant standing next to him is like, "Oh, it looks like we have a guy who knows what he's talking about around here." Blah 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 blah. And I'm like,
You say yep.
I said, yeah. I said, I'm not paying you $4,500 for a bottle.
See,
And
listen,
I just kind
buy
of
my
broke out my
whiskey from
phone.
Japan. I know.
I
man.
overnight my whiskey from Japan.
I just kind of broke out my phone. I took a picture. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, I said I just want to exploit you on Instagram."
I was going to say, now that
took a
once you got
picture.
into the story, I remember the picture.
Yeah, I took a picture and I just walked out. He just handed me. He just set the bottle down. He goes, "You can leave my store now."
He gave you the bottle?
No,
No.
I paid for it. I had my card sitting in the
You
card
paid
reader.
$4,500 for it?
No,
Right.
no,
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 I'm
no,
just
no,
kidding.
no.
You know how many pickup trucks I would buy in Ohio? That's what I would have told him.
A couple at least.
So
like
I
7 of
grabbed my
mine.
bottle. I grabbed my bottle Eagle Rare, and I exited the building. And when I got back to my brother-in-law's, he's like, "Oh yeah, we don't shop at that store. That guy overprices for everything." I'm like,
Oh, good.
I said, "Well,
Right.
that's great to know." I said, "But I paid $2 less for the Eagle Rare than I would have paid in Ohio." And
So
he's
that
like-
worked out.
So I said, "So that's fine." I said, "But he wanted $4,500 for Pappy Van Winkle 23-year." I said, "But hold on, he had another bottle of Pappy Van Winkle 23-year sitting next to it for $2,500."
It was a half bottle.
And he's like,
He's been drinking out of it.
he's like, what's the difference between the two? I said, he put one in a black velvet bag. And he's like, "Are you
Black
shitting me?"
velvet in that little girl's smile.
He's like,
Oh,
"Are you
geez.
shitting me?" I'm like, "No."
Black
I said,
velvet cost you $2,000 today.
I was like, "So, hey, you know, if you want a black velvet bag for $2,500,
There you go.
go talk to your buddy down there." He's like, "Nah." He's
You know,
like,
I don't
"Fuck
care
that
what
guy."
color a sack is. It ain't worth $2,000.
No.
Right.
So he's like, "We shop down at this place down here." We go down to the store that he shops at. The guy has nothing.
It's just empty.
Well, it's not
Well,
that
that's because
it's
everybody
empty.
shops there.
It's
'cause
all,
the other dude-
it's all Crown Royal.
It's not that he doesn't have
It's all
nothing.
Canadian.
He's just got the basic stuff. Like you walk into a
That's
store,
like Circleville's.
and he's just got the basic
Circleville's
shit.
so white trash.
Come
Jack
to-
Daniels is top shelf in Circleville, man. It's
Yeah.
depressing.
Come to find out, the reason the guy
For
charges
today,
so
that
much,
was top shelf for me.
right?
Before today,
Come
Jimmy's
to
like,
find
man, I
out,
didn't know Crown Royal wasn't top shelf.
I know.
It
It's
comes
on
in
the top of the
purple bag.
refrigerator. I mean, that's like top
I
shelf.
put it
bro.
on the top shelf.
I put it up there so the kids can't reach it. Come to find out, the reason the guy charges so much is because right where my sister lives down in Florida is a high turnover rate for Japanese and English tourists.
Oh, okay.
And not, I call them tourists, but they come over and live for like 8 or 9 months.
Yeah.
Business men's and women's.
Right. So they will pay the $4,500 for the Pappy. They will
Hey,
pay the
good for that
$3,000
dude,
for
then.
the. So he
I'd do
charges.
the same if I could get it. I mean, I
Yeah,
can't be mad at him.
He upcharges
He's a businessman.
in Davenport, Florida. He upcharges everything at that store.
Well, think about it,
because he has that high turnover rate of these
Right.
people that
And they're not going to know where to go. They're from out of country.
right. They're out of country.
Think about it. If you can charge $4,500 for something that everybody else charges $300 for, you'd do it. I would.
Well,
Absolutely.
you're not
Now,
going to
being,
find
being a consumer, I'd be ticked. But if I was that dude, heck,
Making
I
some
would.
money off those
other
tourists.
than a controlled state, you're not going to find Pappy for $275. You're going to find it for $1,200. You're going to find it for $2,500.
Okay, fine. You're
So
still getting
you're still getting
100%.
right. You're still
return
getting
on
a
your-
deal.